Alright guys, so in today's video I'm just going to be editing some drone footage together just to show you how my edit process works. But in order to do that I need some footage, so I've stopped off on the way home. I'm just going to get some quick footage of this wind turbine. And then we'll go home and edit the footage. So enjoy the video, guys. Alright guys, Neil from Neil Collins Recording. Welcome to my channel if you're new, welcome back to my channel if you're not. Either way, appreciate you all, thanks for watching. If you do enjoy the video today, please do remember to give it a like, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. If you're already subscribed to the channel but you haven't hit the notification bell, then please do that so that I can notify you when future videos come out. The next drone video I'm going to be releasing a free LUT. So you don't want to miss that one. So please do make sure you've turned on the notification bell underneath so I can notify you of future content. So today I'm going to be editing some drone footage from start to finish. I'm going to show you the process I use of selecting the clips, the music, and I'm also going to show you the export settings that I use to export to social media, to Facebook, YouTube and Instagram. So please do stay tuned until the end because I think that will be useful for a lot of you. I'm going to be editing the video in Premiere Pro today. It's the editing software that I use most of the time, but it is a monthly fee. However, they are doing a 30-day trial at the moment, so there's a link underneath. You click on the link, you get a 30-day trial of the software, free of charge, so you can see if you like it or not. Link in the description below. If you check out my video up here, I did a tutorial on a free editing software, totally free of charge, open source software. It's got a lot of the simple functions from Premiere Pro, so you can still follow along. When it comes to colour correction, the paid subscription softwares generally have better colour correction software inside. They've got better plugins, so you can do more to enhance your footage. So as you can see at the start of the video today, I stopped off on the way home. There's a wind turbine near where my mum and dad live, so I just stopped off near there. It's a bit overcast today, so the footage isn't amazing, but it will do for the purpose of this video. So we're going to use that footage to edit the video today. So let's jump in and start editing this footage together. So the first thing you're going to want to do is import all your footage into Premiere Pro or whichever other software you're using. So let's just do that now. So there's my drone footage from today. I'm going to import the whole folder. So if we open up the folder, then we've got all the drone footage that I shot today. But what I will do is I'm going to get this 60 frames per second footage, go to modify, go to interpret footage, and I am going to assume the frame rate 23.976 or 24 frames per second. If you want to know a little bit more about frame rates, how to shoot them, how to import them, how they work in the timeline and on the shoot, then I have made this video here. But for the purpose of the video today, I'm not going to go too much into frame rates. But basically, when I drag this 60 frames per second footage into my timeline now, it will be in nice, smooth, slow motion. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and find music for the project. Now, some people like to import their footage first, tidy up all the footage and then get the music. I like to get the music straight away so that I know the sort of vibe of the film I'm working with It's just the way I like to work. I just like to get the music first and then edit to the music. That's the way I've always done it. Other people do it differently, but that's the way I do it. It's up to you how you choose to do it in your projects. So I'm going to go into Soundstripe for the purpose of this video. Now, a couple of videos back, I did a review on Soundstripe. It's a great website to get licensed music from. There is a fee, but at the moment, if you use the link in the description below, there's a 10% off code in there to use. It gets you 10% off your yearly or monthly subscriptions, so feel free to use that. Also on Soundstripe at the moment, if you go in there, they're giving you the opportunity to get 3 songs free of charge, so you can see how the site works, get some free music straight off without having to pay anything. So worth going in there having a look. And for the purpose of this video, I'm going to use a song off Soundstripe. So let's go in and have a look. I'm going to go to characteristic and I'm going to choose atmospheric. And I'm just going to stick my headphones on because I'm just going to have a quick listen to some of these tracks. Okay, so let's listen to this one. No. That's rubbish. I'm not really a fan. I quite like that. I think we can go with that one. It's quite atmospheric. I can see it going with the wind turbine footage. Usually I would spend quite a while choosing the music. It's a really important part of any film, I think. But for now, I'm going to license this one. So I'm just going to save that WAV into the project files. So now I'm going to import that track into the project. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a new sequence. So I'm going to go to File, New, Sequence. And in my drop-down list, I have a custom setting for 4K footage. So it's 23.976 frames per second, 24 frames per second, 3840 by 2160 4K footage. So I'm going to call the sequence drone. And now we have a sequence that's going to match the resolution and frame rates of the footage. So I'm just going to drag the music onto that timeline. If you're making a drone video for social media, I would try and keep it as short as possible. People's attention spans aren't generally that big. If you want to capture their attention straight away, you don't want it to drag on for too long. Like I've got a wind turbine, no one wants to watch 4 minutes of that. So I'm going to make the video a minute long, and that way I know that it will fit onto my Instagram grid as well. What I want to do is find the best 1 minute section of the music. Put my headphones back on, and I'm going to find the best part of the song for the video. You don't want to go right from the start because nothing's really happening here. It's a bit too slow for me, so... So I think I'm just going to get rid of the whole of the first section, which is a bit... Right, I think I'm going to start it from there. From that beat. Okay. Quite like that. Quite like that. But I don't want this massive gap here. I want the song to kick in sort of there, so... If I make a cut where the song really kicks in and move it to where the marker is, then let's just see how that works. That's all right, isn't it? Or, hang on. Actually, if I move that to there, let's see how that works. like that. Okay, so that's the first bit, and then we want to go to a minute, don't we? That's good because it stops just before. If we stop it just before it starts going crazy. And let's just fade that out at the end. So we just put a crossfade at the end. I think we'll just fade that out a little bit more. So until we've edited the video to it, we won't know where to put the fade. So I'll leave that as it is for now. So now we're going to start importing video footage on top of the music. So let's go back into our drone footage. I'll put my headphones back on. Okay, so if we go into our drone footage, this is the first one. Let's have a look. So this is my intro to the video, so we won't be using that. Just turn that a different colour. Blue. I always turn the clips that I've used into a different colour just so that I know what I'm doing. Okay, so that's quite nice. Let's just... So what you want to do when you're choosing your clips is go for clips with some movement in. Try not to have any stationary clips. I mean, it is subjective, but I try not to use stationary clips. And what you also really don't want to do is you don't want to say on this clip, you wouldn't want to start the video from here where it's stationary and then starts moving, because that confuses the viewer. That just looks a bit odd. You want to make sure that the clip has already started to move when you use that part of the clip. So I'm going to put an in point there, and then I'm just going to watch the clip and see which bit I want. And see which section of the clip I want to use. So we're going past as well. Okay, so about there I think is enough. So I'm going to import that footage onto my project. And I don't know why that audio is down there. Okay, tidy that up. So now we go to the next clip. Okay, so that's quite nice, but I know that the next one is a closer up of that, I think. So again, I'm going to do an in point there. Actually, I'm going to do an in point there. No need to see the ground. Okay, and okay, so stay to about there, so I'm going to drag that onto the clip as well. Now in that video, it did look like I was very close to the wind turbine, but I actually wasn't. I used the zoom function on the Mavic Air 2, so don't report me. I was way away from the wind turbine, but I just zoomed in on the actual drone itself, just so you know. Always fly safe, kids. So that's that one. Let's go to the next clip. Doesn't really do much for me. It's not. That's quite nice. Oh look, there's a pile of manure there, so that's nice. I think we'll leave that clip for now. So this is the overhead shot. Yeah, I like that. I think it comes back the other way, which is the one I'm going to use. Okay, so I'm going to start it just as it comes into, so just as the what are they called? Propellers? Not propellers, are they? Sails. Are they called sails on a wind turbine? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. I'm not sure what they're called. But those things that go around, just as that comes into view, that's where I'm going to start the video from. Okay, and we're going over the top. Bang. So we'll import that clip onto the timeline. I think this is where I pan around, but I'm pretty sure this shot is a bit rubbish. Yeah, I think the next one is better. You can see Blind Opera House in the background. It's an amazing place, look that up. And right in the middle of the countryside, just a massive opera house. Okay, so it's starting to move there. Now I'm panning around, panning around. Then I'll stop it just as we're parallel with the wind turbine. Okay, so that's that shot. Drag it onto the timeline. So out of all that footage, I've only chosen 4 clips. And that happens a lot of the time. I shoot loads and then I just choose the best bits. For a short 1-minute clip, you only really need 4 or 5 shots. You can do some speed ramping and make it interesting. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to take the clips we've got, listen to the music, and do some adjustments to the clips, and we'll just see how they fit on that timeline. I think I'm going to start with the one scanning up, because it's a nice way of revealing the wind turbine. So let's have a listen and look. So what I'm going to do is where the beat, so on the beat I'm going to put a cut there. And then I'm going to speed this footage up. So it's different in each software, but in Premiere Pro we go to speed duration and I'm going to go 400. So let's just watch that. I quite like that, so that's that clip. And let's have a look at this next one. Okay, so I like that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed ramp the start of this as well. So I'm going to speed it up to, so 400, the same as the last one. And then I'm going to extend it a little bit. I'm going to bring this clip in. And then where that music starts to change again, I'm going to bring the last clip in. And what I'm going to do with this clip is I'm going to reverse it. So I'm going to go to speed duration Premiere Pro, reverse speed, and that's going to reverse the clip. Extend that clip out. For a minute clip, that's all you need. So I'm going to put a transition on the end of this, cross dissolve on the end. I'm going to make the cross dissolve on the video same length as the cross dissolve on the track. Let's just watch it from start to finish and just see how it flows. I don't really like that bit there. I like that. I want that to be slow. So I'm just going to have that at normal speed. And I'm going to have that a bit longer, probably to there. Let's just try that. Probably start it there. Actually, not even there. I think I'll start it there. I think I'm going to start this clip here, and I think with this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this clip out, and where the beat comes in, we're going to make a cut, and I'm going to speed ramp this little bit. I'm going to speed this bit up, 400, drag it out, and just see how that works. Yeah, I like that. Might even reverse that and see what that looks like. Reverse it. Like the rubbish, but I don't like where it starts. I'm going to move that across, pull that over. Yeah, I think that works. What I'm going to do is I'm going to speed it up to normal speed, which will be 240%, until it gets to there. So I'm going to go. But I'm going to have it come in a bit earlier this time. When it gets to there, I'm going to slow it right down to 100% again. So editing together videos is all about keeping it interesting. Taking fairly simple shots like these, putting some speed ramps in, reversing it, editing to the music, and just making the whole thing a little bit more interesting. That's all it is. After these speed ramps and reversing of these clips, I'm just going to leave this other clip to just run, which will give a nice contrast to these fast cuts. Okay, so then let's watch that back. That's actually nicer than it was before. I think the end just needs to be slightly different, so I'm just going to go back over the footage, see if I can find something to end the video on. We'll just have a look, see what it looks like. That's much better. It's from a slightly different angle and it's going in a different direction, so it works better than the other one. I'm going to use that one to end on, I think. Yeah, that's nice. So we just put a crossfade on the end of that one. Ooh. Put a crossfade on the end of that one. So that's the edit done in terms of editing the clips together. I'm happy with that as a short 1 minute video. That's fine. So the next thing you're going to want to do is colour correction. If you're new to colour correction, you're probably going to want to keep it pretty basic. A lot of the colours straight out of drones these days, pretty good. Don't have to do too much to them to make them look nice. But as I mentioned earlier on, I'm actually working on a LUT pack for drone footage. I'll go more into LUTs in another video, but all you need to know is it's something that you can drag into your clips and it'll automatically put a starter colour grade on your footage, and then you just have to do some minor adjustments. I've spent quite a lot of time on these LUTs, and these ones are specifically designed for drones. So like I said at the start of the video, make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so that I can let you know when that video comes out, because it's the free LUT, this very LUT that I'm going to use now. If you're going to use LUTs on your footage, my advice would be put the LUT on first and then do the colour correction after, because the LUT will automatically change the look of the image. In Premiere Pro, you create an adjustment layer and you can drag it across the whole sequence. And then I go to my effect controls and click on the adjustment layer. I am going to go to effects. I'm going to choose video effects, color correction, lumetri color. And if I go to the creative tab, I can then browse and then I can add my LUT to the project. So this is my Emerald LUT, and this is the one that I'll be giving away for free. It basically just makes your drone footage, brings out all the blues and greens. As with all LUTs, you want to use them sparingly, so I'm going to start off at 50% on this LUT. So 50% intensity uses 50% of the colour grade of the LUT on your footage. If you didn't have the LUT on there, you'd still be doing this same process next, which is just going into each clip and just doing minor adjustments to the colours. Let's go into this first clip. In Premiere Pro, we'll select the colour tab, and it will bring up all our colour options in the right hand side of the screen. In other software it'll be slightly different, but you should have the same sort of options. Okay, these are just basic colour correction options. Okay, so these greens for me look a little bit oversaturated, so I'm just going to bring the saturation down a little bit, make them look a bit more natural. So a lot of this you just want to do by eyeball, so we'll bring up a bit of the contrast. Highlights, we might bring those down just a tad. Shadows, might bring those, crush the shadows a little bit. So it's just tweaking little bits and pieces. Then just toggle it on and off. So that's before, that's after, before, after, before, after. Quite subtle, but then what I want to do is I'm going to copy that colour grade across to the next sequence, the next clip, because I know it's the same clip. So I'll paste that on there, and the next, paste that on there. Okay, and this next one, same camera, it should be a fairly similar colour grade, so I'm going to paste that on and just have a look next to, so I'm going to go from that one to this one. This one looks a little bit brighter, so let's just, this one it looks even more saturated, so I'm going to bring the saturation down on that one a little bit. Might bring some of the whites down on this, because it looks a bit overpowering. Okay, and then we know that the next clip, so we can copy this one to the next clip, because that's the same clip, and the next one. Okay, let's just go from these clips, just check that it all matches. Yeah, it looks fairly good to me. Okay, so let's compare it to this next clip. This next clip looks a bit dark to me, so I might bring the exposure. No, I don't think I'm going to bring might bring the shadows up a little bit on this one. It also looks a little bit blue, so I'm going to use the white balance selector, click on this dibber, and as you can see it's warmed up the colours a little bit, so I think that looks a little bit better than it did. So I'm looking at the ground here, and I'm looking at the ground on this one. It looks fairly similar. So I'm quite happy with that, I think. And I'm going to bring the exposure up one. And then this next clip, I know should be the same colour grade as this one. So we can copy this across to this clip, drop this on. Yeah, that looks about right. Now if we go from this one to this one, it looks fairly similar, I think. That's not too bad at all. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. And then this last clip, I just think it needs exposure up in a tiny bit. So let's have a look at the greens in this one. So this clip here, I think I'm going to up the saturation just a tiny bit just to match the other clips. So I've matched the colours in the clips to each other and I've adjusted them so that they look more natural. You can get a bit more creative and play with the curves and the colour wheels and all that sort of thing, but a lot of the time there's no real need. So I'm just going to show you quickly what the LUT does on and off. It's very subtle, but I've only got it on 50%. So that's on, that's off, that's on, that's off, that's on. It just brings out the greens a little bit. If it was on 100%, so 100%, you can see it really brings out the greens and possibly a bit too much. So I'm going to leave that on 50 for now. I quite like that. One thing I will do on the adjustment layer, if you didn't have the adjustment layer, then you would need to put this on each individual clip. But this is something I do to most of my drone videos. It makes it look a little bit more cinematic, so it's a nice little trick for you. If you go to the curves, what you want to do is you want to just bring up the shadows just a tad. What that will do is it will just give it that nice milky faded look in the shadows, which makes it look quite cinematic. If I show you, you look at the trees here, the shadows in the trees, I'll show you that's what it looked like before. Just gives it that subtle faded look, which I quite like. Okay, so in terms of colour correction, that's all I'm doing. The last thing I'm going to do is put some fake widescreen bars across. Nice and easy to do. In Premiere Pro, if you go to Effects, I'm putting this on the adjustment layer, so it'll put it across the whole sequence. And then from the top, I'm going to go 13%. And from the bottom, I'm going to go 13%. Ta-da! There we go. Now we've got those cinematic bars. I genuinely wouldn't really do anything else to this video, even if I wasn't making a tutorial. I might do a few more adjustments in terms of colour correction. I might try out a few different LUTs to see if there was another one that I preferred. Last thing we want to do is export this for social media. So in Premiere Pro, you go to File, Export Media, or Control N if you want the shortcut. We're going to keep it on H.264. Then we're going to go to the preset tab. And we're going to select YouTube 2160p 4K Ultra HD. So that'll export the video in 4K. Perfect for YouTube. You can also use it for Facebook. Never had any problems, and these are the export settings I always use for YouTube and Facebook. I will click on the use maximum render quality, and then I will export this video out. So I'm just going to call it drone version 1.1, save and export. Okay, so that's a 4K file for Facebook and YouTube exported. And now what I want to do is create another video for Instagram, and this is slightly different. So what you want to do is you want to create a new sequence, a 1080p 24 frames per second sequence, okay? Call this Insta. Okay, so this is 1080p 24 frames per second. Now why have I done this? Instagram, you want your footage to be 1080 by 1080. You want it square. We'll copy and paste that whole sequence onto this new Insta sequence. And what we're going to do first of all is we're going to lose the crop bars because we don't want those for Instagram. But now what we want to do is we want to go to the sequence settings, and instead of a 1920 by 1080, you want a 1080 by 1080 square sequence. So, okay, and then you're going to want to adjust the footage to fill that square. So you're going to want to scale it for like 180, I think it is. So you'll have to scale each individual clip Now we've had to scale the footage up, what you want to do is you want to check that you don't need to move any of the footage around. So let's just play it through. Okay, that's okay, that works okay. That works okay. That works okay. That all works, but sometimes because you've had to scale it and turn it from a rectangle into a square, sometimes some of the footage is a bit off, so you might need to move it over a little bit to the left or the right just to make it fit the screen better. But in this situation, it all works fine. So for Instagram, these are the settings you're going to want to use. So go to File, Export, Media. In Premiere Pro, obviously it'd be slightly different on the program you're using if you're not using Premiere Pro. Leave it on H.264. This is all output 1080 by 1080, that's fine. Now what you want to do here is your target and maximum bitrate. It might be slightly different in the program you're using, but you want to be exporting bitrate 8 for minimum and maximum. And that's all you need to do, use maximum render quality. So we'll call this drone Insta and export. And that's all you need to do for Instagram. A lot of people get really hung up on exporting stuff to Instagram. And what they try to do is they try to export it in the best resolution possible because Instagram is such rubbish resolution. But in doing that, Instagram will use its own compression and wreck your footage. If you just export it with a low bit rate of 8, then Instagram won't have to compress it so much, and then the footage will stay pretty much as you export it. So that would be my advice. Other people may do it differently. That's how I do it. I've never had any problems with Instagram doing it like this. And that's it, guys. That's it. That's the edit from start to finish. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, if you could please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below. Always like to read your comments. Yeah, and remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell so you get notified, because I will be giving away this very LUT, my emerald LUT, in my next drone video. I've also got a LUT pack ready for drones. Just doing some final testing on them, so I know they're good to go. Some really nice LUTs just to give you drone footage, a bit of a head start in terms of colour grading. So anyway, yeah, with regard to editing drone videos, that's how I edit mine. Keep some movement in the videos, keep them interesting. Don't have really long 3-minute footage of the drone just flying around. You know, cut from clip to clip. Use some reversing, use some speed ramping, just make it interesting, cut to the music. Today, weather was rubbish. I went out for half hour, got some shots of a turbine. It's not a mountain in Switzerland or anything like that, but even with fairly simple shots, you can make them look cinematic and interesting. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. That free LUT is coming soon. Link to Premiere Pro in the description, link to my drones in the description. Let me know if there's anything you want to see that I'm not doing already. Just leave a comment below, start a conversation. I reply to all your comments, so it'd be great to hear from you. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next video.